I want to just get this clarification. Will you support legislation that has exceptions?
I have.
Anti-abortion that has exceptions for life?
I'll support any legislation
of
that
the mother,
reduces
rape, incest, etc.
Yeah, I'll support any legislation that reduces the number of abortions. So that means a 20-week abortion ban. At 5 months, a child, you know, you'll recognize it as a human being in an ultrasound image, and I'll support that. That doesn't obviously cover the whole gamut, but it reduces the number of abortions. I'll support any legislation that reduces the number of abortions, and there are those that have that exception. And what I've never done is said I require that it must have or not have exceptions.
Why don't you think there should be a requirement of an exception?
Well, a couple points. I think, first of all, the questions that people ask about those two instances are horrifying. I mean, a rape is an act of violence. It's a horrifying thing that happens. And fortunately, the number of abortions in this country that are due to rape are very small, less than 1% of the cases in the world. But they happen, and they're horrifying, and they're tragic. And I recognize that. I also recognize that because of the existence of over-the-counter morning after, not to mention medical treatment that's now available immediately after the assault, that should be widely available to victims, we can bring that number down to 0. That being said, I personally and deeply believe that all human life is worthy of the protection of our laws. I do, and I believe that irrespective of the conditions by which that life was conceived or anything else, and for me to be consistent on that belief, that's why I feel so strongly about it. That being said, I recognize that in order to have a consensus on laws that limit the number of abortions, a lot of people want to see those exceptions, and that's why I've supported those laws in the past, as has every pro-life group in America.
Where is the constitutional line of protection between an unborn child and the mother?
That's why this issue is so hard. There is no doubt that a woman has a right to her own body, has a right to make decisions about her own health and her own future. There's no doubt. And then there's this other right, and that's the right of a human being to live. And these rights come into conflict when it comes to this issue, and so you have to make a decision. And it's hard. I don't say it's easy. Listen, you're 15 years old, and you become pregnant, and you're scared, and you have your whole life ahead of you, and you're facing this. That is a hard situation. I tell people all the time, don't pretend this is easy. This is a difficult question. But when asked to make a decision between two very hard circumstances, I've personally reached the conclusion, if I'm going to err, I'm going to err on the side of life.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and then click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.